welcome back to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. Now, today on the show, we're going to be talking about a movie that I actually had to wait a little over a week to get because this originally sold out and I could not find it anywhere. I mean, I couldn't get it from Best Buy, I couldn't get it from Amazon. And it's a pretty big, important movie, and I actually reviewed the Blu-ray of this way back when, and I remember when it came out on Blu-ray. It was the director's cut of this film, and it actually turned out pretty good. So I was pretty excited about the 4K of this when it was announced, and that is, of course, Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta. And this is just a phenomenal film. This is a movie I really love. It's an iconic film. And it really does have some great impact on the world. Really, the music in this is iconic. The shots in this are iconic. I mean, it's just an iconic film. And I was very excited to get this in 4K because it's an all new 4K transfer. It's still a 5.1 Dolby True HD audio track, same as the Blu-ray as far as I could tell. But again, I was really excited for this. I'm going to kind of jump right into it here because I really need to talk about this release from Paramount. Paramount has had a really great track record over the last, couple years, really. And that's why I was surprised to see that this definitely had some issues. It's really not a great transfer. It's very hit or miss. The first thing I want to talk about is the Dolby Vision HDR or HDR10. However you watch this, the HDR in this is actually really good. And that's probably the best part about this transfer is that the HDR really helps the colors out an extraordinary amount. Reds, blues are just vibrant now. A lot of shots in the movie just look so much more vibrant than they did before. I found skin tones, however, to be kind of a mixed bag. In certain scenes, they look great. In other scenes, people looked very pasty. It was a very odd thing. And that's really the whole gist of this transfer, picture-wise at least, is that the transfer is really all over the place. Yes, the higher resolution does help at times. Again, this is a very gritty movie. And, you expect to see a good amount of grain in the picture. And there is grain here and there. But for the most part, it is missing in a lot of scenes. And especially some close-ups. There are some close-ups in this film that they seem to have DNR'd the hell out of. And that was something I was very surprised about because it really goes back and forth the whole film. I was very kind of disappointed in this because the picture is so all over the place. It's really hard for me to get a handle on it. The 4K is great in some instances. Some scenes, the black levels look great. In other scenes, they look crushed and not so great. The colors throughout look fabulous, but there are some scenes where, like I said, skin tones were off and just things were just kind of not quite right. And it really was a disappointment to me. Now, my mom is a big fan of this film. She really loves this film. And I actually watched it with her because she wanted to see this movie and she wanted to see it in 4K. I don't think she'd ever actually seen the movie in high definition. So we put the movie in, and she watched it with me. And even she, who is not a big, um, high def fanatic like I am, even she noticed that at certain points in the film, it really didn't look right. It looked off to her, and that was really surprising. She actually said it at one point in the movie. It doesn't really look that great. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird. It's so all over the place that it's hard for me to recommend this on a picture level, which was very surprising to me. The Blu-ray, even though that was, from a few years ago, I think it actually may be the same transfer, but it's hard to tell, mainly because of it being such a step up in resolution. And, like I said, the resolution bump is nice, but it really isn't that nice when digital noise reduction is used and you lose a lot of the detail, and a lot of people look very almost too smooth, like everybody's had a facelift, and you lose like clothing detail in certain scenes. It's really too bad because the movie on Blu-ray looked fairly good. The director's cut looked pretty solid, and this just, again, it just didn't measure up, which was really too bad. It's really a shame because I really enjoy this. And the 4K, just so you know, the Blu-ray that's included in here is the exact same Blu-ray that came out years ago. It's a that Blu-ray has the director's cut and the theatrical cut, whereas the 4K is only the theatrical cut, which I thought was kind of odd, but again, I can kind of understand it since the scenes that were reinstated in the director's cut may not have been of the same quality and probably looked even worse in 4K. So kind of understand why they did that, but that to me was kind of a big missed opportunity there as well. And as I mentioned earlier, the soundtrack on here is the same Dolby True HD 5.1 that the older Blu-ray had, which sounds really good. There's no issues with it whatsoever. The music sounds great. The dialogue is crystal clear. It's a really good soundtrack. There's no real issues with it at all. Again, it's just kind of like they couldn't have bumped it up to even like a DTS or something. Like they just kept the same old Blu-ray track. And again, it's better than nothing, but with a movie with this kind of soundtrack, it could have used maybe a Dolby Atmos. I know there's not a lot of overhead or anything. There's some scenes that maybe could have used that, but I just think the audio quality of a Dolby Atmos track or a DTS-X would have been a big step up. Uh, Again, it's kind of a shame. It's really a miss. This is a miss in my book. I was not a big fan of this. Like I said, if you want to see it in 4K and you want to see it with the HDR and everything, like I said, the HDR is the best part of this. So if you can kind of forgive the digital noise reduction in certain scenes and the as my Italian family would say, the mezza-mezz quality in the picture on this, you might enjoy it. If you're a big fan of this film, you probably already own this one. But if not, if you do want to purchase it, I'll leave a link in the description below. But if you already have the Blu-ray, then it may not be worth getting. It also comes with a digital code, and of course, all the old special features that were on the previous Blu-ray are on the Blu-ray that comes with this as well. There's really only a commentary track on the 4K. All the special features are on the Blu-ray that's included. So that's pretty much it for today. Like I said, it was kind of a miss. I was not crazy about this disc, but if you do want to pick it up and you're a big fan, I can't blame you. I know I did, but I just want to forewarn you about the issues with the picture on this one. As always, just want to say thank you for coming back to the channel. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you videos like this. Until next time, please stay safe and take it easy.